Kazinsky and Michelle Yeoh! Welcome, guys. Welcome. Let's all take a seat. Let's all get comfortable. Guys, it's so nice to see you. Thank you very much for joining us. How are we both? Who wants to go first?
Just, ready to feel judged.
Good, ready to be judged. So is this the first time you guys have actually seen the entire film?
Yes.
Oh.
No.
Is it the place to go, how did you find it?
How did you find it?
How did you find it?
I really liked it. Okay. I'm biased, but that's okay, right?
Well, it's really exciting to do this because obviously we've seen Emperor Philippa Georgiou in Discovery. We've seen a lot of the dark side of her. We've seen the mirror of her as well as the captain. And so now we get to see a lot of the sort of horrid backstory of things that have gone on involving family murder and severing ties. So when you were having to come up with the sort of evil backstory of her in Discovery, did you picture any of this?
No, that was Craig soon.
Okay.
That was totally him. It took him 2 years, and I think it was very bold to come up with a backstory like that. Because I guess we all need to know where we came from, especially Philippa Georgiou. And young Georgiou did such a brilliant job. And I must say, Tunde really brought it home. Tunde is our director.
And Miku as well was a young man.
Yeah. She was gorgeous.
I mean, it's really interesting to say because I recently rewatched Discovery. And so to get these sort of extra little tidbits of the Emperor, I think it's really nice. And the fact that we got to start the film off reliving those moments. Mm-hmm. And it's, a tragic way to kick it all off. But then we jump straight back into badass Philippa Georgiou. So what's it like to embody a character like that, especially with both the badass moments, but also the vulnerable moments like we see at the end of the film?
I think for me, really, the badass just takes over completely. I'm so sorry. It's just like, it's so liberating to be able to play a character like that who's so unapologetic and just goes out and say, yeah, I'm gonna get what I want. The end. But I think the most important thing is like along the way for Emperor Philippa Georgiou was to find friends, people that she could actually trust. Because in the mirror universe, there's no one you can trust. Not even your own daughter, not even no one, basically. You're on your own. It's survival mode. But while she was in Discovery, she met Michael Burnham, she met the rest of the crew there, and she discovered that there's humanity, and this journey for her is really about redemption. And do we really get a second chance? And when you are given a second chance, can you really take it? Can you forgive yourself? Forget about other people forgiving you. Can you take that step into saying that I deserve to be forgiven, I deserve a second chance, and I can do better?
We see quite an accepting version of the Emperor in this, because throughout Discovery there's a lot of back and forth, where you can see her wrestling with, I'm a badass, or I actually still care for these people. But in this, there's very much the acceptance of both sides. There's still the massive badass side, but you're very happy to own the vulnerability in the character in this film.
I think you have to. I think that's what I love about this character, right from the beginning. When I was given the opportunity to play the beloved Captain Philippa Georgiou, where she was a really good mentor, leader, compassionate, but tough. But then you meet someone like this who was so entitled, who so believed that this is how it is, and there was so much fun in that character, playing that character as well. But at the end of the day, it was so lovely that the ones who disapproved of her turned around and wanted her to be better. And I think that is a very interesting journey. And times in life, that's the journey that we partake in.
Very, very profound way of finishing that question, but you're absolutely right. Now, Rob, I want to go over and talk to you, but before I do, you'll notice that two of us are wearing Section 31 pins, but one of us on stage is not.
And I'm the emperor, what the
But
hell?
I actually brought one for you, so that you can join us. That way, you know, but Rob, tell us about yours, because you've actually had this made for you by someone, haven't you?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I wasn't to be expected, but I was like, you know, when we rap, surely they're going to give us all a Section 31 pin, and they didn't. And I was like, this is too important to me. Like, Star Trek is my life, it's my world, it's the thing I love, and I'm not leaving here without a goddamn badge. So I paid an enormous amount of money to have one made.
You made one?
No, I made one for me and one for Tunde. I will ask my friend Nina to make you another. You know what?
Now, Rob.
I love when I can be intimidating.
It's happened in real life, and now all three of us get
Gosh,
together
she's
pins.
method, I swear.
Now, Rob, you are an enormous Trekkie. Backstage, when I met Rob, I was with my friend Chloe, and they spent maybe 20 minutes, just the two of them, discussing the philosophy of the trill. And it was genuinely amazing just to stand back and watch this and go, oh my god, this guy loves
I
it.
don't support the drill.
Is this your political stance
No,
coming
it
through?
is, but that's the thing, it's political, it is. It's an entire society where people are groomed to allow the elitist, powerful few to take over their bodies, and I'm like, I don't know, man.
Welcome to the real world.
Like, I don't know, I was talking about the data moment.
Yes, you were, yeah.
You know, there are things that have aged poorly in Star Trek, and you know, do you remember the episode of TNG where they come across that spaceship and
Let's not go into this.
I think people know where I'm going.
Probably, yeah.
There's some bits.
But what is it that you've always loved so much about Star Trek? How long have we got?
You know, I was kind of asked this question about what makes Star Trek such an enduring thing for people. And I was asked this earlier, and I then came up with something off the cuff, but I'm going to try and repeat it, even though it's not so spontaneous now. But it's feeling quite prevalent to me at the moment, the way the world is. You know, we're living in a post-truth world. We're living with truth is whoever says it first, whoever says it loudest, and whoever says it most. And you know, there's that famous Goebbels quote: "If you repeat a lie enough times, eventually it becomes the truth." We're living in a time where our societies and the systems that we've relied on are failing us. Capitalism is eating us. We're falling to global unrest, and we're feeling very lost and unmoored. But what Starfleet and Star Trek presents us with is a time where we've got past that. Where, and to quote Picard, as I did earlier, you know, the fundamental duty of every Starfleet cadet is to the truth, whether that is scientific truth, historical truth, or personal truth. I know my shit. and that is the guiding fundamental principle upon which Starfleet, and therefore Star Trek, is founded. And what it presents us is, this too shall pass, this moment in time where we are so torn. Why wouldn't you want to escape that to a world that's saying, hey, we're gonna be all right. And we're going to be all right to such a degree that we will never need a Section 31 again. We will never need these kind of things, or we will be living better and kinder. And if you can't get behind that, and if you don't want to spend your days in that, I don't know, man.
We need Section 31.
Well, we need Star Trek, and we need for Starfleet to exist, you need Section 31.
And you went on a Comic-Con about this. You almost did a TED talk on it. You said it's a necessary evil.
Yeah.
But what was the quote? It was, it's easy to be a saint in
Yeah,
paradise.
it's the Cisco quote of "It's easy to be a saint in paradise," which he was referring to, you know, in the Pale Moonlight, to the Maquis, and about how the Maquis don't have the luxury of living the way that we do in the Federation, that safety, and you know, here's why I think Section 31 is the most interesting thing in the world. And it's not just because I'm being paid to say it, but we are in a world, we're in a universe where there's the Dominion, where there's the Romulans, where there's, you know, the Klingons, where there's all of these things who don't live by the ethos of the Federation. They don't embrace those same things. We're dealing with people that have gone in different directions politically, and different machinations, and the Terran Empire, and all of these things. And you cannot have a society that isn't prepared for those. It is wonderful that the people in the Federation get to live that idealistic way, but to keep them safe, there has to be people on the frontier ensuring that they can stay safe. Now, where Section 31 oversteps, I mean, in every show that it's ever been, is when it starts to affect the Federation and the way the Federation itself is functioning. It's not where Section 31 should be. They should be on the frontier, keeping the people safe. And that's what I think is so interesting to play with, and what's going to become so fascinating if Section 31 goes on to be many more movies. So yeah, that's, I'll shut up.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Because it is nice to see something so passionate in this. Let's actually talk about your moments within the film rather than the philosophy side of it. But so we obviously saw you. We saw you as a sort of machinated guy, you know, wearing your mech. Now, we talked backstage about this. Talk to us about the mech suit. I must also ask, is it like when you pick up a power drill, you have to make the noises?
I didn't.
Is it a bit
I
like
still haven't stopped. Everything I do, you go to the toilet. It's never ending. The thing, but the suit was. We were talking about it, and I'm going to get to the point. Like, how long were we filming? 5 months? 4 months? 5 months?
Yeah, 4 months.
Yeah, it didn't get washed once.
Oh.
This only wasn't. But again, not so bad for me. How was it the suit for you? Yeah, to be fair. It was stinky and it weighed a ton and it was agonisingly painful and it weighed 50 pounds.
50 pounds?
50 pounds.
Good grief.
But it was by far the most comfortable one of those suits that I've ever worn. They had a P-flap, like I've already mentioned. My first one on Pacific Rim, which was kind of the progenitor of these kind of suits, did not have a P-flap. They did not think about that, and that cost us some, you know, moments in time.
Nobody ever thinks about the P.
Nobody thinks about the P-flap.
I've often said that.
Yeah.
I've got it tattooed on my chest.
Be on my gravestone. Rob Kazinsky died. Never talk about the P-flap.
Well, let's talk about one of the fight scenes that
Yes.
you're in as a sort of marionetted corpse who's using that as well. Was that having a stinky suit? Was that also quite bad for the fight scenes then?
Well, we were averaging, on average, we were weighing me before and after every kind of day. And on the average day, I was losing 10 pounds of sweat. And on that day, I lost 16 pounds of sweat. But usually you're putting it back on, so you know you're drinking water throughout the day and you're sweating. It's just disgusting. On that day, I was a puddle. That was one of the physically the hardest things I've ever done in my life because we're in that what's it called? The AR screens, right? Which is this huge
Right,
wall, thousands of LED screens, giving off enormous heat. And they gave us 1 day to shoot that whole fight sequence, didn't they? And we were just there.
Yeah, but you're so professional, you didn't need
No, I mean, I didn't need more than one. If they'd given me a month, I'd have been thrilled. That was.
16 pounds a day? Oh, no, for a month?
No, it wasn't. Oh God, I could have come out of that thing so skinny.
Did you anticipate? Because obviously when you had to learn all the choreography for this, I guess, how did you then compensate for the fact that you were going to be wearing 30 pounds worth of, or 50 pounds worth of suit?
Well, we had Chris, stunt coordinator, and an incredible bunch of stunt performers, and we went down there. Michelle was there as well all the time, was helping choreograph and come up with the right things. And I thought they made some really amazing little fight sequences. And it's very helpful. Like I remember when Michelle came in on her fight sequence where
Words.
Thanks. Yes. When they're in the Baram and they're fighting and they're going through the walls and stuff like that. And I watched Michelle come in and they were like, "So this is the choreography." And she went, "Okay, go," and just fucking did it.
Wow.
And I was watching that going, I know you're the legend. That was why. And we both got dance backgrounds and we can both do that kind of stuff, but I've never seen anything like that. So it really kind of matters who you're fighting with.
That's true. And Michelle, like we've said, we've seen you do a lot of these fight sequences in other things, but in loads of Discovery, watching you sort of break people's necks and things. So is it always fun to jump back in to doing the choreography for these?
Breaking people's necks? Yeah. Now, we had a lot of fun with Chris McGuire and his team. I think the most important thing when you do an action sequence is not the action, but the drama. You know, whether it's the humor behind it, that's what that sequence entails and what you're trying to achieve. And the collaboration with Tunde, with Rob, with all of us is it's not fixed. It's organic. It has to keep changing and evolving. And it's wonderful to work with people when you walk in there, because they are under a lot of pressure because they have a very few days, not just to choreograph it, but to shoot it and get it and move on. So when we come in, they basically want us to just learn the steps, and then of course we come in and go like, no.
Everything.
But not for the purpose of saying no, but why would I do this? Why would we do that? Because especially in the final sequence between Philippa Jojo and San, it's more the emotional fight. It wasn't just a fight to the death. It was so much history from when they were young, we are two but one, and then we are two, and that's it, we're no longer one. The drama behind it drives that whole sequence. So can you imagine, it was like when we were sitting there for a couple of days going like, she can't just stab him and say die, right? She wouldn't do that, not at this point. And will he actually kill her? Because even though he had that sword right in his mouth, and he deserved to be killed, given Philippa Jojo. But at the end of the day, it's like, how do we put it such that, sometimes it's so unpredictable what life is, and how we want it to be a certain way, but it doesn't end up like that. But how do we, in that drama, also convince our audiences, like, believe in this love between these two? But unfortunately and sadly, it has to be resolved, and in a very sad way.
I think it was amazingly done, and you're right, you can really tell a lot of the drama in that final scene.
And that was more important to us than physical fighting. You've seen so many amazing fights, but the drama really drives the fight at the end of the day. And that was what we were hoping for. And even with your mechanical weird shit.
Really was weird shit.
It was really
weird shit.
We're going from drama.
But it was fun though.
Oh, it was hard work, but honestly, I swear I say this in every job, but that's only because I keep getting luckier and luckier with every job I get. But I've never had more fun on the set. From day one on this thing, you've had a much better career than me, but I've never.
Well, you're young.
Yeah. I've never had instant chemistry and camaraderie with the whole cast and crew that quickly. I mean, it was something else when we walk onto that set, and it was like family immediately. And that's from like Tunde down and Kurtzman, I guess. It's everybody, and that creates an incredibly easy way to sit there and.
I think that's the Star Trek thing, your
brings
family.
people together.
The minute you step into that, your family, we protect each other, we're there for each other, and we protect the legacy, and we know there are so many of you out there that loves what we are doing, and you make us better, and we love you as much as you love us. So it goes both ways. So when you walk onto a set like that, it's a very different kind of atmosphere, because you're walking on very solid grounds, but at the same time, as storytellers go, we also have to try and tell a story in a different kind of way, and to make it evolve, make you like us even more, and see something else, something different, and something new, and that's what we storytellers do. Otherwise, you'd be so bored of us that you walk in there. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever met a hero of mine and not been disappointed. I mean, I'm not one of you guys, you know what I mean? And then to go onto a set and have this, and have exactly what Michelle's talking about there, that I've never, it was just such a, because you don't want to meet your heroes, because what if they do suck? And like, if Star Trek, if it had been a horrible experience, and I've been like crushed and stuff, but it was, honest to God, the best experience with the best
people like Alex Kurtzman and Tunde and
and Michelle.
Protected though.
No, you took care of us. You took care of us, like you immediately. Michelle stories. It was,
Oh no, don't start the Michelle story.
no, this one's cool. This one makes it cool. We're standing in a hallway. We're about to go in and do a scene with, I think it was with Joe, I don't know. And we're talking martial arts. We're just going back and forth, talking history of martial arts because we both know our stuff. And she makes me a little threat, you know, I'll give you a kick in the chest. And I'm like, I'm here. I just realised I'm cosplayed as this chair. But anyway, I'm here, and Michelle is 4 inches in front of me. And I'm like, yeah, go on then, Michelle. And she just spinning back kicks me in the chest from here. And it hurt. And I was so impressed by that. And I was like, holy shit, she's the real deal kind of thing. Like, don't piss her off. Like, Philippa Georgiou is cool. Michelle Yeoh, cool.
I guess you've got to set that day one. Don't mess with me on this set.
I
would house kick you in the chest.
In the chest is good. It's true that.
I was lucky it was in the chest.
Well, actually, you guys have sort of brought me on to another question I want to ask, because there's a lot of really fun dialogue in this, and like you said, you guys clearly all bonded as well. But there's that real sort of back and forth, like that group have been together doing this ragtag team for a while. So you've already mentioned this, but was it also really fun for yourself on set? With all
At the beginning, no, hell no.
Really?
I don't do improv, okay? Like, no. But I think Tunde created such a great atmosphere between us. And you know, when you have someone like Sam, he sweats on call. I go up to him and I stare at him and you see a droplet of sweat. It's so funny. So we had a really, really good rapport between all of us. And that was really nice.
Was that just instant then? Because you said it was instant.
Casting director deserves.
Deserves all the kudos.
Oh yeah,
You know
putting the right people together.
The first scene where it's all of us in the spaceship and we're all getting introduced and telling the story and stuff like that was day one.
Really?
Yeah, and well, for us, you had one day previous with torturing Joe. Day one, when all of us were in there, that was the first time we were in costume, and that was the first time we were doing anything, and it was like was it 5-page scene or 12-page scene? I can't even remember. But that was the day we were all like figuring it out, and like testing each other's boundaries and being like, okay, what is this? And then realizing that Tunde shoots with 3 cameras, which means, oh, we can improvise. And Craig Sweeney being like, we'd come up with ideas, and then Craig Sweeney would throw in from the side, call him a dickhead! And it would just be constant things being thrown at you by Tunde or Craig or Alex or Michelle or anybody. And I think about 90, we could have done a whole other, triple the length of this film.
Just with the back and forth banter.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lines I really like. I really like the lieutenant being like, chaos is my friends with benefits.
Yeah.
And also you had just a lot of real fun little lines of just, is that the ship? I like that ship. Lots of real fun ones. So are those all improv?
Yeah. A lot of it's improv. A lot of the things around it, I don't think it was written.
I think
there was quite a lot of written, and then quite a lot of Craig adapting things on the fly as we went as well.
So you got a lot of opportunity to go, what if I did this? And they go, yeah, give it a shot.
Even through ADR afterwards.
Wow.
I was sitting there in ADR and Tunde's like, can you get away with saying this? And I'm just trying to see if it fits. Like, they was so playful and such a safe set to do that in.
I mean, it really was, and I'm really, really glad that we got the opportunity not only to watch this together, but also to have you guys here with us to chat about this.
This is my first time watching it.
Wow, and to share that experience with all of us. What a pleasure it's been, Michelle. So, unfortunately, I've only got time for one more question, but I do want to thank both of you for sitting and chatting. So, Michelle, obviously, we've followed Philippa Georgiou from Discovery. Now we see her in Section 31. Where would you like to see Philippa go with these sort of new stories?
To be honest, I mean, I feel Section 31 is like Mission Impossible in space. I want more adventures with these assholes. Because it's fun, it's out there, it's exciting, it's different, it's thrilling, right? It's unexpected, new characters, new adventures. And that's what I really, really like about being part of the Star Trek family. Is like, the galaxy is for us to explore. And to do it with a bunch of idiots, why not?
As a Trekkie, Rob, what would your thoughts be?
Oh no.
We're going to finish the Q&A there. If you guys want the TED Talk, he'll be outside.
There is one thing that I really tie into with this. You know, I love Giorgio and I love Section 31, and there is obviously a darker side of 31 rather than just the playful side of 31 that we can play with. But for me, there's a missing Enterprise captain, and it's Rachel Garrett. And that Rachel Garrett has been in half an episode of TNG, but you've had Pike, you've had Kirk, you've had Picard. Like, I would love to see Rachel Garrett's experience with Section 31 and how that takes her to being the captain of the Enterprise. That's what, and how like Philippa Georgiou affects the next captain of the Enterprise. I think that is a story that every Star Trek fan should want to see and hear, how Rachel Garrett gets to the Enterprise from that cluster.
I mean, I think that would be very exciting.
Yeah.
And I sincerely hope we do get to see more of Section 81 because I can't necessarily speak for everyone, but I will. We've enjoyed every second of this, and thank you so much, both of you, for not only coming but to sit and chat with all of us as well. Guys, give it up for the amazing Michelle Yeoh and Rob Kazinsky. Well, if you guys do fancy a second viewing or a third viewing, or as many as you'd like, this will be available. Star Trek Section 31 premieres on Paramount Plus on the 24th of January. But for now, remember what you've seen, what we've chatted about tonight. Tonight is under embargo, so this was for your ears and your eyes only. If you'd like a list of spoilers or have any questions, please reach out to your Paramount Plus point of contact. And with that, be sure to join us outside for food, drinks, music, and also, they've written this in my script, live long and prosper. One more time, guys.